Yeah, to me, we talk a lot about like the difference of the tour versus the other races. And you're thinking, well, how could that be true? Because these are all professional races. Today, you could visibly see, like when they were showing camera shots of the peloton, like it was visibly easier than stage one of the Tour de France, which was also a sprint stage. Yeah.
Yeah. And, there's the stress. It's the stress level. The stress level is just not there. There's not even 20% at stake compared to the Tour de France. It's like in the Tour, okay, this is where it needs to happen. Everybody's at the tip of their toes. This is never the case in Tour of Spain. The Tour of Spain is relaxed.
Everybody, welcome back to the Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We are breaking down stage one of the Vuelta a España, and then at the end we will bolt on a little episode of outcomes where we predict tomorrow's stage two. Johan, but just to catch everybody up, stage one, sprint stage in Italy. Nothing makes sense. We have the Vuelta a España starting with a sprint stage in another country. Jasper Philipsen wins, Ethan Vernon second, Orius Ular third. I still don't really know how to say his name, but I should because he was also third on stage one of the Giro d'Italia. But
it's Orluis Aular. Orluis Aular.
I remember him coming out of seemingly nowhere at the Giro, but at this point,
he's been. He was on. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he was on Caja Rural. I'm going to say maybe last year or 2 years ago. He's now also double Venezuelan champion, time trial and road. And in those sprints where there's not really a huge high speed with the big lead out train. Pretty good result for him.
Yeah, and then my guy, Mads Pedersen, your pick, Jasper Philipsen wins, like easy, freakishly easy. Mads Pedersen never in good position. Mm-hmm. Little Trek, they seem to be on the front for the entire last 50K, and then when it mattered, Alpecin was suddenly on the front for Philipsen with the perfect lead out, and Little Trek was nowhere to be found. There's not a lot to talk about on this stage, we should say. Yeah. Not a lot happened, but what was your main takeaway from the day?
Well, it was clear that it was going to be a bunch sprint already. If you look at the Vuelta, the overall, there's maybe 3 stages where you can say, okay, this is for sure a bunch sprint, where actually we know that the sprinter teams can control. So this was for sure one of them. There was no sprinter team that was going to let this opportunity slip away. So obviously not much going on, big break. A breakaway of 5-6 guys. Then finally one rider stayed away. The Spanish champion under 23 from last year, I think, Pablo de la Calle of Burgos. So, we see these small teams, going breakaways as usual. The Tour of Spain has this system where they rotate the wild cards. So this year it's Burgos and Burgos
and Caja Rural.
And Caja Rural. Last year it was Kern Pharma and Euskaltel. Kern Pharma winning 3 stages and not getting an invite. So that's kind of very special. But I think it's great for those teams that at least every other year they have a guaranteed Tour of Spain start. It was clear from the beginning there was going to be a bunch sprint. So nothing going on really in the stage except just waiting for the bunch sprint.
Yeah, to me, we talk a lot about the difference of the tour versus the other races, and you're thinking, well, how could that be true? Because these are all professional races. Today, you could visibly see, when they were showing camera shots of the peloton, it was visibly easier than stage one of the Tour de France, which was also a sprint stage. Yeah,
yeah, and there's the stress. It's the stress level. The stress level is just not there. There's not even 20% at stake compared to the Tour de France. It's like in the Tour, okay, this is where it needs to happen. Everybody's at the tip of their toes. This is never the case in Tour of Spain. The Tour of Spain is relaxed at the start. There's a tenth of the media. Spectators are not the same, so it is definitely very low key stress wise and. The roads are usually also better and bigger in Spain. So there's less road furniture in my opinion compared to France. Well, anyway, we're in Italy now, so we're in Italy. But overall,
they did pick the least complex roads, maybe in all of Italy for the stage.
Yeah. But no, overall, there's no stress at the Vuelta.
Yeah, you could see it, you could feel it. I mean, I'm just looking up right now. Jasper Philipsen now has 14 career Grand Tour wins. Amongst active riders, that's behind just Primož Roglic and Tadej Pogačar. Pogačar already is 30, by the way. And all time, that puts him, it's actually impressive. Like, you forget, like Robin McEwen, 24 career Grand Tour stage wins. So he actually has quite a bit to go there. It was fun to see Philipsen out of his natural environment. You think of him as he just wins so much of the Tour. He's so good at the Tour. He wins today. Also, his teammate, Tim Merlier, wins at the Renewy Tour. Good day for Alpes and De Koning. Two-part question for you. Why did they start the Vuelta with this stage? Was it just to entice, like to throw any type of bone to a top sprinter like Philipsen? Like, hey, come, you'll probably win stage one. You at least get a shot. And then we buckle down and it's mountain madness for the rest of the time? Or like, what's the thought behind starting the race with this type of, let's be honest, pretty boring stage?
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to, the towns that pay the money, right? And a bit of everything. I mean, they have a flat stage today. Tomorrow is a more difficult, a pretty hard finish for stage 2. But it's also a way to attract certain names. The sprinters, obviously, who come to this race, they have to have a chance early on, because otherwise they won't make it over. Some of them won't make it over in the first week. There's already a bunch of really hard stages where sprinters could potentially already go home. So I think it says a lot for Philipsen. He crashed out heavily in the Tour de France. As we spoke in the other podcast, I briefly met him there in Denia, in south of Spain, where I met him at the hotel. He explained about his collarbone and, his shoulder injury and ribs. And he went down very, very hard. There, he said, okay, I need to do the Tour of Spain because I need motivation, so it's obviously it's a big race. But yeah, to be back like this in the first punch sprint, if you look at the team also, there's no doubt that this is the best lead-out train of the whole Tour de France, Tour of Spain peloton. This is why they came with Philipsen and guys like Riesebeek and what's his name, Jonas Ricard and these big guys, Edward Planckaert. That's what they do. That's their job. They actually don't race to win races. They race to lead out their guy. It was obvious that he was going to be the big favorite for today.
They're also just physically big, so they can put out a lot of power, so they can get to the front, and they can make space because they're so much bigger than everybody else. The fact that they've just
and great to draft. Also, Philipsen. Yeah. Listen, Philipsen. He's not a little. He's not tall, but he's not a small guy, and you can barely see him behind them.
I know, because how tall is your son? He took a picture next to your son.
Yeah. My son is 180, so he's not super tall, but he is. He's not a tiny guy. He's a strong guy. He looks strong, even in his even if he's not in cycling clothes. You can see he's a strong guy.
And you're right, he disappears behind those guys. It's a massive advantage. Also becomes the first rider, I believe, since Fabian Cancellara in 2009 to win the opening stage of the Tour and the Vuelta in the same year. Pretty impressive for him. Wins the opening stage of those Grand Tours. First race leader. As you said, got to feel good coming off that injury. And Alpes and De Koning, just an impressive day from them. But also behind, Brian Coquard 7th. So Uno X won a stage at the Deutschland Tour today. Brian Coquard gets 7th, and he gets double the amount of UCI points that Uno X does today. These are two teams fighting for the last World Tour spot. So that shows you why you're like, what is Cofidis doing? They should be in the breakaway. It's like, no, actually, you can harvest points at these big races by. It's probably a mad dash for the last half of the top 10. Just really shows you how important those spots are at these races.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's going to be it's obviously nothing to. It has to do with the Tour of Spain, because we will obviously look closely at what Cofidis will be doing. But that battle, man, for 18th and 19th place that's going to be interesting until the very last race of the season, I guess, until China.
Yeah, until China, the Guangxi. I might watch the Guangxi Tour for the first time ever. And I mean, it shows you the value of someone like Picard. Like he might actually win a stage here, so maybe he would be valuable in that respect. But just guys who can get 5th through 8th, you can score a lot of points in a Grand Tour doing that. Anything else? None of the GC guys lost time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Wiesma was at the front. That's kind of to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Egan Bernal kind of hanging out at the back. That's kind of to be expected. I didn't really see a lot from the GC that.
No,
I mean,
you could see. I mean, obviously, you know, both Visma around Jonas, they look really dialed in, strong. You know, Kampenaerts, as always, is there where he has to be. UAE was very much around their leaders. So it was basically those two teams bringing their leaders to the front all the time. And then, I mean, there's not much we can take away from today's stage other than we know that Jay Vine's not going to go for GC already because he let it go. He was, you know, he did his job and I think he's going to go for stage wins.
That's probably for the best. We don't need another GC guy.
No. There's no room for that. There's no room for that on UAE, I guess.
I guess the only other thing is the points classification. A bit of a blow to Pedersen. He finishes. Where does he even finish? He finishes 14th. So I don't think that's any points for the points classification. Philipsen gets 50 for first. To start in a 50-foot bucket, not great. Like that's going to be hard for Pedersen to dig himself out of.
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, it depends if Philipsen is really motivated for it. And if he gets through the whole Tour of Spain, you know, because it's incredibly hard. I restudied the course a little bit. Man, it's hard. It is like excessively hard. Brutal stages.
Yeah, and they start tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's not brutal, but it is a 10K long uphill finish. Let's take a quick ad break and then we will preview that stage and give our picks for it when we come back. Hey everybody, today's episode is brought to you by Quince, which is quickly becoming one of my go-to places to get high quality clothes with classic fits and lightweight layers for the warm weather that we're currently going through, all at prices that actually make sense. Everything I've ordered from Quince has been nothing but solid. They have closet staples that you'll want to reach for over and over, like cozy cashmere for the upcoming winter weather, cotton sweaters from just $50, breathable flow knit polos, and comfortable lightweight pants that somehow work for both weekend hangs and dressed up dinners. The best part, everything with Quince is about half the cost of similar brands. By working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middlemen, Quince gives you luxury pieces without the luxury markup, and they only partner with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. For me, the thing that's been getting me through this week of riding around, commuting on my bike is the Quince worn stretch jeans that have been allowing me to, they're comfortable enough for me to commute by bike. And then when I get where I'm going, I look great in these jeans with high-end denim and a fraction of the price of competitors. I seriously could not believe the price on them. I thought the MSRP was a mistake. Keep it classic and cool and go to quince.com/TheMove for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/TheMove to get free shipping and free returns for a year. Quince.com/TheMove. All right, let's get back to the show. All right, Johan, stage 2. We're still in Italy. We a bit of a sneaky long transfer, actually. They drive across like the plain of Piedmont, and then they set them up in Alba, and they go right up into the Alps, which is funny to think that we're back in the Alps after the tour. We're coming back. It's a 10K long summit finish, not like overly steep, and it is a simple stage, but it's net uphill pretty much the whole way. There's one classified climb. It's the finish. There is a sprint point after a short-ish climb. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens there with Pedersen and Philipsen. But then we just kind of buckle in and everyone's going to probably get behind their team and go up, work their way to the Alps and the 10K long 5.5% grade to the finish. How do you think this is going to play out, GC or I guess, or front of peloton or breakaway? And who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, it's short stage, but it's just a question of, will these teams, namely UAE and Visma, will they want to control, right? And I would also probably add in a little track with Ciccone. So my guess is yes, they will want to control because it's not an easy climb; it's an opportunity, and I mean, I don't think there's going to be any surprises. It's probably going to be either Jonas, who's already. I mean, this is already a great opportunity. Almeida or Ayuso, but my favorite for tomorrow is Giulio Ciccone. He's shown that he's in great shape. He's won San Sebastian. Looked extremely strong there. Who did he drop? He dropped Del Toro. No, he dropped Del Toro and Jan Christen. He dropped two UAE guys. Then he won the hardest stage in Tour of Burgos, also beating Del Toro. And obviously, he said he's here for stage wins, also not for GC. So yeah, he's going to be my favorite to win tomorrow's stage, and then be a few days in red through Italy.
Yeah, I actually expect the exact same thing to happen. I think Ciccone wins this. I think Little Trek has probably had this circled for a while. The guy's in amazing form. He's very good on finishes like this, beating some of the sport's best riders on uphill finishes like this. I think he does it. I think he takes red. And then after that happens, actually going to be probably some betting opportunities in the GC because he'll be artificially probably weighted up. Mm-hmm. And then riders like Vingegaard and Almeida, Ayuso could be weighted down. It will be. I'm fascinated to see. Like, you kind of have to show your work on a finish like this as a GC contender. So we're going to get to see right away who's fit, who isn't. I would say, though, the odds are not out yet, unfortunately, so we can't reference the odds. But when the odds do come out, remember to check NextBets, nxtbets.com/bet outcomes to get the best price and sign up bonuses wherever you are. I would say if I had to pick a wild card, though, and I don't know if this is the wild card or the favorite, Jonas Vingegaard. Like the last 5K is 6.5%. I would not be shocked if he wins this stage and like stamps his authority on the race early.
Yeah. Although I think for Vingegaard it's maybe early, and also the stage itself is not hard. Ciccone, I think, in my opinion, it's tailored for him. But let's not forget about Joe Almeida. Almeida has been preparing specifically for this Vuelta.
It is kind of a perfect Almeida climb.
Since his crash in the Tour, he was on amazing shape. Usually when you get a problem, right, and it's not too severe, while you are in top shape, you come back extremely good, and you can carry that shape. You can recover just faster because you're in great condition. So, Almeida is also a candidate for tomorrow.
He did. Someone sent me on Instagram that a quote I didn't like, that he went 10 days without riding after crashing at the Tour. Sounds bad, I guess, but if you think he was humming coming into that Tour, so maybe a week and a half break in the middle of July before ramping up for the Vuelta isn't the worst thing. But we'll see tomorrow. We'll find out. But I think Ciccone is just all in on this. He's not going to hold back. He's going to go for it. I would bet Ciccone as long as he's not like minus 500, because I do think it's probably a Ciccone finish.
Yeah, let's see.
All right. Anything else, Johan? Before it's your birthday, by the way.
It is my birthday. Dinner. That's why we have to do the show early, and I have limited time. I have to go to a family dinner now. I'm in Belgium, so so from tomorrow on, we'll dive a bit deeper into the stages. Today, I'm a bit limited on time.
Yeah, I don't know if we could have dove any deeper into the stage.
There's not much to say.
An hour and a half.
Not much to say. No.
So it worked out well. Happy birthday. And anything else before you leave?
No, that's it for me, Spencer.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will be back tomorrow to break down this summit finish that I'm quite excited to see.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Bye.